I'm done. Victoria Ashford's voice cut through the ballroom like a knife. 500 of New York's wealthiest people froze mid-conversation, champagne glasses suspended in air. Her hand trembled as she reached for the microphone at the engagement party that was supposed to seal her fate. I can't do this anymore. But let me back up. Let me tell you how a billionaire heiress threw away everything for a guy nobody thought was good enough. This is a story about choosing love over money, and trust me, it cost her $8 billion. If you're into real love stories that'll make you believe in taking risks, hit that subscribe button because this one's going to blow your mind. Let's go back to where it all started 3 months before that ballroom explosion. Victoria Ashford was 26 and miserable. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. How can someone with $8 billion be unhappy? But money doesn't buy you freedom when your whole life is mapped out by other people. She lived in a penthouse in Manhattan that cost $12 million. She wore clothes that cost more than cars. She attended parties with people whose names you'd recognize from Forbes lists. And she hated every second of it. Her parents, Richard and Catherine Ashford, ran Ashford Technologies, one of the biggest tech companies in America. They'd built an empire, and Victoria was the crown jewel meant to secure the next generation. Her marriage had been arranged since she was 21. Blake Rothschild, another billionaire's son. Handsome, educated, completely wrong for her. Blake treated her like a business merger, which honestly is exactly what their relationship was. He'd kiss her cheek at events, hold her hand for photographers, and then ignore her the rest of the time while he texted his actual girlfriend. Yeah, Blake had someone on the side. Victoria knew. She didn't even care. That's how dead inside she felt. It was a Tuesday night in September when everything changed. Victoria was alone in her penthouse, which was rare. Usually she had assistants, stylists, or security hovering around. But she'd sent everyone home because she needed to think. Her official engagement party was set for December. 3 months away. 3 months until her life became a permanent lie. She was staring out at the city lights when her doorbell rang. That was weird. The front desk always called before sending anyone up. She checked the camera. A delivery guy stood there in a brown uniform, holding a large package, looking slightly uncomfortable. Victoria opened the door. I didn't order anything. Package for Victoria Ashford, he said, checking his scanner. Then he looked up and she saw his face properly for the first time. He was young, maybe mid-20s, with warm brown skin and the kindest eyes she'd ever seen. His name tag read Jamal. He had this energy about him, like he was fully present in the moment, not performing or pretending. That's me. But seriously, I didn't order this. She signed for it anyway. Happens all the time. Rich people order so much stuff they forget. He said it matter-of-factly, not mean, just honest. Then he noticed her expression. Sorry, that came out wrong. No, you're right. Victoria surprised herself by laughing. I probably did order it and forgot. It was raining outside. She could see water dripping off his jacket. Do you want to dry off for a minute? That's a long way back down. Jamal hesitated. I've got other deliveries. 5 minutes. I'll get you a towel. She didn't know why she offered. Maybe because he'd treated her like a normal person. Maybe because she was lonely. Maybe because something in his smile made her feel awake for the first time in years. He came in and she grabbed a towel from the bathroom. When she came back, he was looking at her. Man, you can see everything from up here. Must be nice. It's lonely, actually, she said before she could stop herself. And that's how it started. They stood by that window and talked for 20 minutes. He told her about his delivery route, how he was studying computer science at community college, and how he wanted to build his own app someday. She told him about feeling trapped, about her upcoming engagement to someone she didn't love. Wait, you're getting married to someone you don't even like? Jamal looked genuinely confused. Why would you do that? It's complicated. Nah, it's really not. Life's too short to be with the wrong person. Before you hit that like button, let me tell you, this conversation changed everything for Victoria. Because Jamal was right. It really wasn't that complicated. She was just scared. When he left that night, Victoria couldn't stop thinking about him. This stranger who'd delivered a package and somehow delivered a wake-up call too. She did something crazy. She looked up his delivery company's routes and figured out where he might be the next day. The next afternoon, she put on jeans and a hoodie, no makeup, hair in a ponytail, and went to a coffee shop in Brooklyn she'd never been to before. And sure enough, at 2:30, Jamal walked in to grab a coffee between deliveries. "Hey," she said, walking up to him. "Remember me?" He stared at her. "Penthouse girl? What are you doing in Brooklyn?" "Getting real coffee." She smiled. "Can I buy you one?" They sat in that coffee shop for an hour. He missed 3 deliveries. She missed a fitting for her engagement dress. They talked about everything. Movies, music, dreams, fears. He made her laugh. Actually laugh, not that fake society laugh she'd perfected. "I should probably tell you something," Victoria said finally. "My full name is Victoria Ashford, as in Ashford Technologies." Jamal's eyes widened. "Wait, you're that Ashford? The billionaire family?" "Yeah. And you're slumming it in Brooklyn talking to a delivery guy?" "I'm talking to someone real. There's a difference." If you're wondering whether she should have walked away right then, drop a comment below. Because what happened next changed both their lives forever. Over the next 2 weeks, Victoria and Jamal kept meeting. Coffee shops, park benches, cheap diners where nobody recognized her. She'd never felt so free. He didn't care about her money or her last name. He argued with her about movies, teased her about never having tried dollar pizza, and listened when she talked about feeling trapped. "You know you don't have to marry that dude, right?" Jamal said one evening as they walked through Prospect Park. October had arrived, and the leaves were turning gold and red. "It's not that simple. My family, the business, there are expectations." "Expectations?" "Victoria, you're 26 years old. You're not a kid. You can make your own choices. You don't understand what it's like." "You're right, I don't. I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx with my mom and 2 sisters. We barely had enough money for groceries sometimes. But you know what we did have? Freedom to choose our own lives. Money doesn't mean anything if you're living in a prison." His words hit her hard. He was right. She had everything except the one thing that mattered most. "Tell me about your family," she said, changing the subject. Jamal smiled. "My mom's a nurse. Works crazy hours, but she made sure we had everything we needed. My sisters are both in college now. I'm the oldest, so I've been working since I was 16 to help out. The delivery job pays the bills while I finish my degree." "What's your app idea?" "The one you mentioned." His whole face lit up. "Okay, so you know how hard it is for small businesses to manage inventory and deliveries? I'm building something that makes it simple and affordable. Not some complicated enterprise software, just something that works." Victoria watched him talk, his hands moving as he explained the technical details, his passion making him almost glow. This was what she'd been missing. Someone who cared about something real, who was building something with his own hands. "That's brilliant," she said. "Have you pitched it to investors?" "With what connections? I'm a delivery guy from the Bronx. Nobody's going to listen to me." "I would." He stopped walking and looked at her. "Victoria, I don't want your money. That's not why I'm hanging out with you. I know, but I'm serious. Your idea is good. Let me at least introduce you to some people." "No." His voice was firm. "If I do this, I do it on my own. I don't want anyone thinking I made it because I knew a rich girl." She respected that, even if it frustrated her. Pride was important to him. She was starting to understand that his pride was part of what made him who he was. That night, as she rode back to Manhattan in her private car, Victoria realized something terrifying. She was falling for him. Actually falling the way you're supposed to fall for someone. The butterflies, the constant thinking about him, the way everything felt brighter when he was around. And she had no idea what to do about it. Her engagement party was 8 weeks away. Blake barely spoke to her except to coordinate their public appearances. Her parents were busy planning the wedding of the century. And here she was, sneaking around Brooklyn to see a delivery driver who made her feel alive. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see how this plays out, because it's about to get real complicated. 2 days later, Victoria invited Jamal to her penthouse. She'd never brought him there after that first night, always meeting him on his turf. But she wanted him to understand her world, to see where she came from. He showed up in jeans and a clean shirt, looking nervous. "This feels weird." "Why?" "Because this is your world. I deliver packages to places like this. I don't hang out in them." "Well, now you do." She poured them wine from a bottle that cost $1,500. He didn't need to know that. They sat on her couch, and she showed him the view he'd admired that first night. The city spread out below them like a kingdom. "See that building?" She pointed. "That's where my father's office is. And that one is where I'm supposed to work after I graduate from my MBA program. My whole life is mapped out in those buildings." "So change the map." "Jamal, it's not. Not that simple." "Yeah, you keep saying that." He turned to face her. "But maybe it is that simple, and you're just scared." "Of course I'm scared. If I walk away from this, I lose everything. My family, my inheritance, my entire world." "But you'd have your life. Isn't that worth something?" Before she could answer, he kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper. She melted into it, her hands in his hair, feeling more real than she'd felt in years. When they pulled apart, both of them were breathing hard. "I'm falling for you," he said. "And I know that's probably the stupidest thing I could do. But there it is. It's not stupid." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I'm falling for you too." They spent that night talking until sunrise, wrapped up on her couch. He told her about his dreams, about wanting to build something that mattered. She told him about the little girl she used to be, before the money and expectations crushed her spirit. They fell asleep in each other's arms as dawn broke over Manhattan. When Jamal woke up, he checked his phone and panicked. "I'm 4 hours late for my shift. They're going to fire me." Victoria grabbed her phone. "I'll call." "No. Don't fix this with money or connections. I'll handle it." He kissed her forehead. "I have to go." After he left, Victoria sat in her empty penthouse and made a decision. She was going to tell Blake the truth. She was going to end the engagement. She didn't know what would happen with Jamal, but she couldn't live a lie anymore. She called Blake that afternoon. "We need to talk." "I'm busy," he said, distracted as always. "Blake, I can't marry you." That got his attention. "Excuse me? I don't love you. You don't love me. This whole thing is a business arrangement, and I'm done." There was a long silence. Then Blake's voice turned ice cold. "You do realize what you're throwing away? The merger between our families is worth billions." "I don't care. Your parents are going to lose their minds." "Probably. Is there someone else?" She hesitated. "Yes." Blake laughed, but it wasn't a friendly sound. "Who is he? Some Wall Street guy? Another tech heir?" "That doesn't matter." "Oh, this is going to be fun to watch." "Good luck, Victoria. You're going to need it." He hung up. Victoria's hands were shaking, but she felt lighter than she had in years. She'd done it. She'd actually done it. Then her phone rang. Her mother. "Victoria Elizabeth Ashford. What did you just do?" Here's where things get crazy, so smash that like button if you're invested in this story. Victoria's mother didn't yell. Catherine Ashford never yelled. She did something much worse. She spoke in that quiet, disappointed tone that made Victoria feel like she was 10 years old again. "Come to the house. Now. Your father and I need to speak with you." An hour later, Victoria sat in her parents' living room in their Upper East Side townhouse. The place always felt like a museum. Priceless art on the walls, furniture you weren't supposed to actually sit on, everything perfect and cold. Her father paced in front of the fireplace. Richard Ashford was a man used to getting his way. He'd built a tech empire from nothing, and he expected his daughter to play her part in securing its future. "Explain to me," he said slowly, "why you just destroyed a merger that's been in the works for 5 years. "I don't love him, Dad." "Love?" Her mother laughed. "Darling, this isn't about love. This is about legacy. This is about building something that lasts. I can't spend my whole life with someone I don't even like. Blake is perfectly suitable. He comes from a good family. He understands our world. He has a girlfriend on the side, Mom. Did you know that? He's been cheating on me for 2 years. Her mother waved her hand dismissively. Men have their diversions. You'd learn to manage it like every other woman in our circle does. Victoria stared at her mother in disbelief. Is that what you did? Managed Dad's diversions. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Her father stopped pacing. That's enough, Victoria. No, it's not enough. I'm done living a lie. I'm done pretending to be happy in a world that values money over everything else. There's someone else. Her father said it like a statement, not a question. Blake mentioned it. Who is he? Victoria hesitated. She didn't want to bring Jamal into this, but she also wasn't going to lie anymore. His name is Jamal. He's smart and kind and real. He doesn't care about my money or my last name. What does he do? Her mother asked. He works for a delivery company while he finishes college. The silence was deafening. Then her father spoke, his voice like ice. You're throwing away your future for a delivery driver? I'm choosing my own future. Listen to me very carefully. Her father sat down across from her. If you continue this relationship, you'll get nothing. No inheritance. No position in the company. No trust fund. You'll be cut off completely. Richard, her mother said, but he held up his hand. I mean it, Victoria. You marry Blake, you secure your future and ours. You run off with some nobody, and you're on your own. You think you can survive in the real world? You've never worked a day in your life. You've never struggled. You have no idea what you're giving up. Victoria stood up. You're right. I don't know what I'm giving up, but I know what I'm gaining. My life, my choice, my chance to be happy. You're making a mistake, her mother said. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. Victoria walked out of that house and didn't look back. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely call a car. When she got home, she called Jamal. Hey, I was just thinking about you, he said, and his voice made her want to cry with relief. Can you come over? I need to see you. What's wrong? I'll explain when you get here. 30 minutes later, Jamal stood in her penthouse, and Victoria told him everything. The conversation with Blake, the confrontation with her parents, the threat to cut her off. Wait, hold up. Jamal looked stunned. You broke off your engagement? Because of me. Because of me. You just helped me see clearly. Victoria, your parents are going to hate me. Your whole world is going to hate me. I don't care. But I care. He ran his hand over his face. You're going to lose billions of dollars. Your family. Everything you've ever known. And I'll have something real for the first time in my life. Jamal pulled her close. You're crazy. You know that. Probably. I'm just a guy from the Bronx trying to make it. I can't give you penthouses and private jets. I don't want those things. I want you. They held each other, and for a moment, everything felt possible. But reality was about to hit hard. The next morning, Victoria woke up to her phone exploding. Text messages, emails, missed calls. She scrolled through them with growing dread. Someone had leaked the story to the press. Ashford heiress dumps billionaire fiancé for delivery driver. There were photos. Someone had caught her and Jamal at that coffee shop in Brooklyn. The headlines were brutal. Some focused on the money she was giving up. Others focused on Jamal, and the comments under those articles made her sick. The racism was immediate and vicious. People saying he was using her for money, that he was trash, that she was throwing her life away for someone beneath her. The comments got worse from there. Jamal called her. Have you seen the news? Yeah. Victoria, this is bad. Someone recognized me at work. My boss is getting calls. People are harassing me online. They got my social media, my address, everything. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. But we need to figure out what to do. If you're wondering whether they should have gone public differently, leave a comment below because this is where everything starts falling apart. That afternoon, Victoria got a call from her father's lawyer. Miss Ashford, I'm calling to inform you that your credit cards have been deactivated and your trust fund access has been frozen. Already, your father is quite serious about this. Additionally, the penthouse lease is in the company's name. You have 30 days to vacate. Victoria hung up and looked around her home. 30 days. She had 30 days to figure out her entire life. She called her best friend Sophie, the one person from her old life who might understand. Sophie had known her since prep school. Soph, can we meet? They met at a restaurant in Midtown. Sophie looked uncomfortable the moment Victoria sat down. So it's true? You really broke up with Blake for a delivery guy? His name is Jamal, and yes. Sophie shook her head. Victoria, what are you doing? Do you understand what you're giving up? Why does everyone keep asking me that? Yes, I understand. I'm giving up money and status. I'm gaining my life back. But is he worth it? You barely know him. I know him better than I ever knew Blake. Blake was safe. Blake was our world. This guy, Victoria, he's not. And everyone's talking. My mother called me this morning asking if you'd lost your mind. Maybe I have. Sophie leaned forward. Look, I get it. You wanted to rebel, make a point. You did that. Now come back to reality. Apologize to Blake. Fix things with your parents, and move on. Victoria stood up. If that's what you think this is, you never knew me at all. She walked out, and for the first time she felt truly alone. Her family had turned on her. Her friends didn't understand. The media was tearing her apart. And Jamal was getting attacked because of her. That night, Jamal came over. He looked exhausted. I lost my job today. What? Why? The company said I was becoming a distraction. Too much media attention. They let me go. Victoria felt like she'd been punched. This is my fault. No, it's not. But Victoria, we need to talk about something. Jamal sat down on her couch and looked at her seriously. I've been thinking about this all day. About us. About what's happening. Victoria's heart sank. You're breaking up with me. No. But I need to know if you're really ready for what this means. Because it's only going to get harder. Your family's not going to forgive you. The media's going to keep tearing us apart. And I just lost my job because of the attention. I know all that. Do you? Because 3 weeks ago you were a billionaire heiress planning a society wedding. Now you're about to lose everything. Can you really handle that? Victoria sat beside him. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not scared. I am. I've never had to worry about money. I've never had a real job. I don't even know how to do my own laundry. That made him smile a little. Seriously. Seriously. I've had people doing everything for me my whole life. But Jamal, I'd rather figure it out with you than live one more day in that golden prison. He took her hand. Okay, then we're in this together. But you need to understand something. I can't be the guy who rides in and saves you. I'm barely making it myself. I've got student loans, rent on a tiny apartment, and now no job. I can't take care of you the way you're used to. I don't need you to take care of me. I need you to be honest with me, to see me as a person, not a bank account. That's all I've ever wanted. They kissed, and for a moment the world felt right again. But reality was waiting. Over the next 2 weeks, things got worse before they got better. Victoria's parents made good on their threats. Her credit cards stopped working. Her penthouse was no longer hers. She had to pack up her life and figure out where to go. Jamal offered to let her stay with him, but his place was a studio apartment in the Bronx barely big enough for one person. Instead, Victoria found a small one-bedroom in Brooklyn. It wasn't fancy. The bathroom was tiny, the kitchen barely worked, and she could hear her neighbors through the walls. But it was hers. She paid for 6 months up front with the cash she'd managed to save. After that, she'd need to figure out a job. An actual job. She'd never had one before. Welcome to the real world, Jamal said, helping her move boxes into her new place. It's not glamorous, but it's honest. Victoria looked around her tiny apartment and felt something unexpected. Freedom. For the first time in her life, she wasn't living in a space owned by her family or their company. This was hers. But freedom came with challenges she'd never imagined. Simple things she'd taken for granted became obstacles. She didn't know how to use the subway. She'd never grocery shopped. She didn't understand how to budget or pay bills. Everything that normal people did automatically was foreign to her. Jamal was patient. He taught her how to swipe a MetroCard, how to find deals at the grocery store, how to cook basic meals. They laughed at her mistakes, like when she bought the most expensive version of everything because she didn't know better. Victoria, you don't need the organic artisan bread for $12. The $3 loaf is fine. How was I supposed to know? Most people learn this stuff when they're teenagers. I wasn't most people. He pulled her close. No, you definitely weren't. Meanwhile, the media attention hadn't died down. If anything, it got worse. Photographers followed them. Gossip sites tracked their every move. The narrative was always the same. A rich girl throws away everything for nobody. Some articles painted Jamal as a gold digger. Others acted like Victoria had lost her mind. The worst part was watching what it did to Jamal. He couldn't go anywhere without people recognizing him. Some were cruel. Others just stared. His pride was taking a beating, and Victoria could see it wearing on him. One night, about 3 weeks after she'd moved out, they were walking home from dinner when a group of guys recognized Jamal. Yo, that's the dude from the news. The one dating the billionaire. One of them called out, "Hey man, what's it like spending her money?" Jamal kept walking, but Victoria felt him tense beside her. "Ignore them," she whispered, but they followed. "Must be nice living off a rich girl. You hit the jackpot." Huh. Jamal stopped and turned around. "I've never taken a cent from her. Not that it's any of your business." "Sure, man. Whatever you say." Victoria grabbed Jamal's arm. "Let's go." They walked away, but the damage was done. When they got back to her apartment, Jamal was quiet. Too quiet. "Talk to me," Victoria said. "This is what my life is now. People think I'm with you for money. People disrespecting me everywhere I go. I can't even walk down the street without someone judging me. Who cares what they think? I care. My whole life I've worked hard to build something, to be respected. Now I'm just the delivery guy who got lucky with a rich girl. That's not true. Isn't it? Look at us, Victoria. You gave up billions to be with me. What have I given you? A tiny apartment? Subway rides? Teaching you how to shop at the dollar store." Victoria grabbed his face. "You gave me my life back. You gave me honesty and real love. That's worth more than any amount of money." But she could see the doubt in his eyes. The constant pressure was getting to him. Hit that subscribe button because this relationship is about to face its biggest test yet. The next morning, Victoria woke up determined to prove she could make it on her own. She started job hunting. With her MBA and her last name, you'd think it would be easy. It wasn't. Every interview went the same way. They'd see her resume, get excited, then Google her name. Once they saw the headlines, the energy changed. Nobody wanted the drama that came with hiring her. "Miss Ashford, your credentials are impressive, but we're looking for someone who can focus on the work without outside distractions." Translation: we don't want the media circus that follows you. After the 10th rejection, Victoria sat in a coffee shop and fought back tears. She'd never failed at anything before. Everything had always been handed to her. Now that she had to earn it, she was discovering she didn't know how. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "If you're ready to come home and fix this mess, your father will consider taking you back. This foolishness needs to end." Victoria deleted the message. Going back wasn't an option. But moving forward felt impossible. That evening, she met Jamal at his place. He'd been applying for jobs too, but the media attention made it difficult. Nobody wanted to hire the guy from the headlines. "How's the job hunt?" she asked. "Same as yesterday. Nobody's calling back." He looked frustrated. "I've got 2 months of savings left. After that, I don't know how I'm going to make rent. I still have some money saved. We'll figure it out." "No." His voice was sharp. "I'm not taking your money. It's not about pride, Jamal. It's about helping each other. It's exactly about pride. Don't you get it? Everyone already thinks I'm using you. If I start taking your money..." "They're right." They argued for the first time. Really argued. About money, about pride, about what it meant to be together when the whole world was watching. "Maybe we moved too fast," Jamal said finally. Maybe we should take a break. Let things cool down. Victoria felt her heart drop. A break? Are you serious? I just need some space to figure things out, to get my life back on track without all this pressure. So when things get hard, you run? That's not fair, isn't it? I gave up everything for this, for us, and now you want space. Jamal looked at her, and she saw something that scared her. Doubt. Real doubt about whether they could make this work. Victoria left Jamal's apartment that night feeling more alone than ever. She walked back to Brooklyn in the cold November air, not caring that it was late or that she should probably take the subway. She needed to think. Everything was falling apart. No job, no family, and now Jamal was pulling away. She'd risked everything, and for what? To end up alone in a tiny apartment with no idea what to do next? When she got home, she found an envelope that had been slipped under her door. Inside was a check for $5 million and a note from her father. Victoria, this is your last chance. Take this money. Move somewhere quiet. Start over away from that boy. In a year, we can revisit your position in the company. But this relationship has to end. Now, choose wisely. $5 million. Enough to disappear, rebuild her life somewhere else, and eventually get back in her family's good graces. All she had to do was walk away from Jamal. She held that check and thought about how easy it would be. She could text him right now, say it wasn't working, and be gone by morning. No more judgment. No more struggle. No more disappointing the only man who'd ever made her feel alive. Victoria tore up the check. She might not know what she was doing with her life, but she knew what she wasn't doing. She wasn't going back. The next few days were tense. Jamal didn't call. She didn't reach out either. Both of them were stubborn, both hurt, both scared of what came next. Victoria finally got a job interview that went well. A small marketing firm in Brooklyn needed someone with her education. They didn't care about the headlines. The pay was $45,000 a year. She'd spent more than that on a single handbag before, but it was honest work and they offered her the position. She started the following Monday, her first real job. She showed up early, made coffee for the office, and learned how to use the copy machine. Her coworkers were nice but cautious. Everyone knew who she was and what she'd given up. So you really walked away from Billions? Her desk mate, a girl named Maya, asked during lunch. Yeah. For a guy. For myself. He just helped me see I deserved better than a fake life. Maya nodded slowly. That's actually pretty brave. Stupid, maybe, but brave. Victoria laughed. I'll take it. Work gave her purpose. For the first time, she was contributing something, earning something. Felt good. But every night, she went home to an empty apartment and thought about Jamal. A week after their fight, he finally called. Can we talk? They met at the same coffee shop where they'd had their second conversation. Felt like a lifetime ago. Jamal looked tired. I'm sorry about what I said. About needing space. I was scared. Of what? Of not being enough for you. Of watching you struggle because of me. Of everyone being right when they say you made a mistake choosing me. Victoria reached across the table and took his hand. You are enough. You're more than enough. But Jamal, you have to stop caring what other people think. We're always going to be judged. People are always going to have opinions. If we let that control us, we'll never make it. I know. I just hate that you're suffering because of me. I'm not suffering. I'm living. There's a difference. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm learning things I should have learned years ago. But I'm free. Don't you see that? He squeezed her hand. I got a job offer. It's not much, just tech support at a startup. But it's something. That's great. And I've been working on my app at night, actually making progress. They talked for 2 hours, rebuilding what the pressure had cracked. When they left that coffee shop, they were stronger. Not perfect, but honest about the challenges ahead. But the universe wasn't done testing them yet. 2 days later, Victoria got a call from Blake. She almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of her. What do you want, Blake? I want to make you an offer. Meet me for coffee tomorrow. Hear me out. If you don't like what I have to say, you never have to talk to me again. Against her better judgment, She agreed. They met at a fancy restaurant in Manhattan, Blake's World. He looked the same. Expensive suit, perfect hair, that entitled smile. "You look different," he said. "Tired." "Thanks. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying the real world doesn't suit you." "Get to the point, Blake." He leaned back. "I'll be honest. The merger between our families is falling apart without our marriage. My father's furious. Your father's desperate. So here's my offer. Come back. Marry me. We don't even have to live together. You can have your own place. See whoever you want. I certainly will. But on paper, we're the perfect couple. You get your inheritance. I get mine. Everyone's happy. Except we'd be lying. So what? Everyone in our world lies. That's how it works. You get the money, the status, the security. And your boyfriend gets to stop being harassed by the media. Think about it, Victoria. You can have both. The life you were born for and whatever this rebellion phase is. Before you judge Victoria for even considering this, drop a comment below, because this is the moment that defined everything. Victoria looked at Blake and saw her old life staring back at her. Easy, comfortable, safe. She could go back. Have the penthouse, the credit cards, the security. Jamal could get his life back. The media would leave them alone. Everyone could move on. "No," she said. "What?" "No. I'm not doing it. I'm not going back to a lie just because it's convenient." Blake looked genuinely surprised. "You're really going to throw everything away for some guy?" "I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing something real over something fake. There's a difference. You're making a mistake. Maybe. But it's mine to make." She walked out of that restaurant feeling 10 feet tall. She'd been offered an easy way out, and she'd turned it down. That meant something. When she told Jamal about it later, he was quiet for a long time. "You could have had your old life back." "I don't want my old life. I want this one. With you." He pulled her close. "I love you. I don't think I've said that yet." "You haven't." "I love you, Victoria Ashford. Even though you can't do laundry and you still overpay for everything." She laughed through tears. "I love you too. Even though you're stubborn and too proud for your own good." They held each other in her tiny apartment, and everything felt right again. Not perfect, not easy, but right. The next month was better. Victoria got good at her job. Jamal's position at the startup was going well. They fell into a rhythm. Dinner together most nights. Weekends exploring the city like normal people. Slowly, the media attention faded. There were newer scandals to chase. Victoria's small apartment started to feel like home. She learned to cook. Well, learned to make 3 things without burning them. Jamal helped her paint the walls. They bought cheap furniture from thrift stores and laughed at how different her life was now. "A year ago, I was at a charity gala wearing a dress that cost $20,000, she said one night. "Now I'm eating takeout Thai food on a couch that costs $50. Which do you prefer?" "This. 1,000,000 times this." But her parents weren't done trying to bring her back. Her mother started calling regularly. Not angry anymore, but concerned. Worried. Using guilt instead of threats. "Darling, I just want you to be happy. Are you really happy living like this?" "I am, Mom. But what about your future? What about children? You can't raise a family on 2 middle-class salaries." "Plenty of people do. You're not full of people. You're an Ashford." "Not anymore. You made sure of that." The calls always ended the same way. Her mother disappointed. Victoria frustrated. The gap between them growing wider. If you're still watching, hit that like button because we're heading into the final act, and everything's about to explode. December arrived, and with it came Victoria's original engagement party date. The one that was supposed to be the social event of the season. Blake's family had already sent out invitations before the breakup. The party was happening whether Victoria was there or not. Blake had found a new fiancée fast. Some heiress from Boston. The engagement party became their announcement. And somehow Victoria received an invitation. Whether it was Blake's way of rubbing it in or just an administrative oversight, she didn't know. "Are you going to go?" Jamal asked when she showed him the invitation. "Absolutely not. Maybe you should. She looked at him like he was crazy. Why would I do that? Because it's closure. Because you spent 5 years of your life in that world. Because walking away completely is one thing, but running away is another. He had a point. She'd been avoiding everyone from her old life. Her former friends, her family, the whole social circle. Maybe it was time to face them, to show them she was okay. Better than okay. Will you come with me? She asked. Jamal hesitated. You want me to go to a billionaire engagement party? Victoria, that's your world. I don't belong there. You belong wherever I am. And I need you there. He agreed, though she could tell he wasn't happy about it. They went shopping for clothes. Jamal refused to let her buy him an expensive suit, so they found something nice at a discount store. Victoria wore a simple black dress she'd bought on sale. Nothing like the designer gowns she used to wear. The night of the party, they took the subway to Manhattan. Jamal in his off-the-rack suit, Victoria in her sale dress, heading to the Plaza Hotel where the event was being held. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. Last chance to back out, Jamal said as they approached the entrance. Not a chance. They walked in together, and the room fell silent. Every head turned. Victoria Ashford had returned, and she'd brought him with her. The whispers started immediately. Victoria could feel hundreds of eyes judging her. Her dress that probably cost less than the flowers on a single table. Jamal's suit that didn't quite fit right. The fact that they'd arrived by subway instead of private car. Her mother approached first. Victoria, I didn't think you'd come. Surprise. Catherine Ashford looked at Jamal like he was a stain on the carpet. And you brought your friend. His name is Jamal, Mom. My boyfriend. The man I love. Her mother's smile was ice. How lovely. Well, do try to enjoy yourself. They moved through the party and it was brutal. Former friends who pretended not to see her. Business associates who'd known her since childhood suddenly had somewhere else to be. The message was clear. She'd betrayed her class, and they weren't going to forgive her. Blake found them near the bar. His new fiancée, Amanda, stood beside him. She looked terrified, like Blake might be comparing her to Victoria. You came, Blake said. Brave. Congratulations on your engagement, Victoria said genuinely. I hope you two are happy. Blake looked surprised by her sincerity. Thanks. Look, Victoria, no hard feelings. We weren't right for each other. I get that now. I appreciate that. Amanda relaxed a little. Your dress is beautiful. Where's it from? Target. The girl's eyes widened, and Blake actually laughed. Of course it is. You really did walk away from everything, didn't you? I walked toward something better. That's when Victoria's father approached. Richard Ashford looked older than she remembered. Tired. He nodded at Jamal. So you're the one who stole my daughter. Sir, I didn't steal anyone. Victoria makes her own choices. Clearly. He turned to Victoria. Can we talk? Privately? Victoria looked at Jamal, who nodded. She followed her father to a quiet corner of the ballroom. You look well, her father said. Different, but well. I am well. Are you happy? The question surprised her. Yes, Dad. I really am. He sighed. Your mother and I have been talking. We don't understand your choices. We probably never will. But you're still our daughter. Victoria's heart jumped. Dad, let me finish. We're not offering you your inheritance back. We're not welcoming that boy into the family. But if you need help, if things get difficult, call us. Not for money, just to talk. It wasn't much. It wasn't acceptance. But it was something. A crack in the wall between them. Thank you, she whispered. Her father nodded and walked away. Victoria returned to Jamal, who could see she'd been crying. You okay? Yeah, I think I am. They stayed for another hour, mostly keeping to themselves. Victoria realized something important that night. She didn't miss this world. The fancy clothes, the expensive champagne, the people who valued your last name over your character. She'd thought she'd lost everything by leaving. But really, she'd just lost things that didn't matter. As they were leaving, a photographer from one of the society magazines stopped them. Miss Ashford, "Can I get a photo?" Before Victoria could say no, Jamal pulled her close and smiled. They posed together, and in that moment Victoria felt something powerful. Pride. Not in her money or her name, but in the choice she'd made. In the man beside her. In the life they were building. The photo ran in the magazine the next week. Victoria Ashford returns to society with mystery boyfriend. They looked happy in the picture. Real. And for once, the comments online weren't all negative. Some people started to see the romance in it. The billionaire who gave it all up for love. Don't forget to subscribe because we're heading into the home stretch, and the ending is going to surprise you. Christmas came, and for the first time in her life, Victoria didn't spend it at some elaborate family gathering. She and Jamal stayed in Brooklyn. They cooked dinner together, which was an adventure since neither of them was great at it. They exchanged small, thoughtful gifts. He gave her a necklace he'd saved up for. She gave him a new laptop for his app development. "This is too much," he said. "It's an investment in our future." "Our future?" She smiled. "Yeah, our future." That night, wrapped up together on her cheap couch, Jamal told her about his progress on the app. He'd been working on it every spare moment, refining it, testing it with small businesses in the neighborhood. "I think I'm ready to launch," he said. "I'm scared as hell, but I think it's good." "It is good. You're going to change things. I wish I had your confidence. You gave me mine. Time to believe in yourself the way you made me believe in myself." In January, Jamal launched his app. It was called Simple Ship, and it did exactly what he'd promised. Made inventory and delivery management easy for small businesses. He charged a small monthly fee, nothing compared to the big enterprise software companies. The first week, he got 10 customers. The second week, 50. By the end of the month, he had 300 small businesses using his app. Victoria watched him work around the clock, answering customer service emails, fixing bugs, improving features. She'd never been more attracted to him than when she saw him building something with his own hands and mind. "I think this might actually work," he said one night, exhausted but excited. "Of course it's going to work. You're brilliant." By March, Simple Ship had 5,000 customers. Tech blogs started writing about it. Investors started calling. Jamal was terrified and thrilled. "There's a venture capital firm that wants to meet with me," he said. "They're talking about investing $2 million for 20% of the company." Victoria hugged him. "That's amazing. I'm scared I'll mess up the pitch." "You won't, but I can help you practice if you want." They spent a week preparing. Victoria used everything she'd learned from her MBA and from watching her father run a company. She helped Jamal refine his presentation, anticipate questions, and present himself confidently. The day of the pitch, she waited at a coffee shop nearby. Jamal texted her 2 hours later. They said yes. She screamed in the middle of the coffee shop, not caring who stared. Her boyfriend, the delivery driver everyone said wasn't good enough, had just secured $2 million in funding for his startup. That night, they celebrated in their own way. Cheap pizza and cheaper wine in her apartment. But it felt like champagne and caviar because it was earned. Real. "I couldn't have done this without you," Jamal said. "Yes, you could have. You just needed to believe in yourself." "No, I mean it. You helped me see this could be more than just an idea. You pushed me when I wanted to give up." Over the next few months, Simple Ship exploded. What started as a small app for local businesses became something bigger. Word spread through small business communities across the country. By summer, they had 50,000 customers and were hiring employees. Jamal moved into a better apartment, closer to Victoria. He insisted on paying his own way, even though he could now afford to. His pride hadn't changed, but now it came from building something real instead of just surviving. "I want to ask you something," he said one night in June. They were at his new place, which was actually nice. 2 bedrooms, updated kitchen, a view of the Brooklyn Bridge. "What? Move in with me? For real? Not because you have to, but because you want to." Victoria smiled. "I want to." They combined their lives officially. Her thrift store furniture mixed with his new stuff. Her 3 successful dinner recipes expanded to 5 with his help. They were building a life together piece by piece. But Victoria's family situation hadn't improved. Her mother still called occasionally, always with the same sad hope that Victoria would come to her senses. Her father remained distant, though he'd sent a card on her birthday. Nothing inside but his signature. It was something. Then in August, everything changed again. A tech giant called Velocity Systems made Jamal an offer. They wanted to acquire SimpleShip for $80 million. $80 million. Jamal would get $48 million after the investors took their share and taxes. "I can't breathe," Jamal said when he got the news. "This can't be real." Victoria grabbed his face. "It's real. You did this. You built something amazing, and now you're getting rewarded for it. What do I do? What do you want to do?" He thought about it for a long time. "I want to take it. Use the money to start something else. Keep building. But I'm scared of what money will do to us. Look what it did to your family." "Money didn't destroy my family. The obsession with it did. The belief that it mattered more than people." "You're not like that." "How do you know?" "Because I've watched you. You didn't change when you got your first investment. You won't change now. You're still the same guy who delivered packages and dreamed about building something that mattered." Jamal accepted the offer. In September, the deal closed. He was worth $48 million. Not billionaire money, but more than enough to never worry again. The news hit the media immediately. Former delivery driver sells startup for millions. The narrative shifted overnight. Suddenly, Jamal wasn't the nobody who got lucky with a rich girl. He was a self-made entrepreneur. A success story. The American dream. Victoria found it hilarious and frustrating. "So when you were working hard and building something, you were just my boyfriend. But now that you have money, you're a genius entrepreneur." "People see what they want to see," Jamal said. "Let them talk. We know the truth." But the money changed one important thing. It removed the barrier between Victoria and her family. Not completely, but enough. Her mother called a week after the news broke. "Victoria, I saw the news about Jamal's company. That's quite impressive." "It is. Perhaps we judged him too quickly." Victoria almost laughed. "You think? Your father and I would like to invite you both to dinner. If you're willing." Victoria looked at Jamal, who shrugged. "It's up to you." "Okay, Mom. We'll come." The dinner was at her parents' townhouse. Victoria hadn't been there since the night she'd walked out. Everything looked the same, but she felt completely different. She wasn't the scared girl who'd needed their approval anymore. Her parents were stiff at first, formal. But as the evening went on, something shifted. Her father asked Jamal about his business strategy. Actually listened to the answers. Seemed impressed despite himself. "You built something from nothing," Richard said. "That takes vision and guts." "Thank you, sir. Call me Richard." Victoria's mother was trying too. Asking about their apartment, their plans, actually seeming interested in Victoria's marketing job, even though she'd gotten a promotion and was making decent money now. After dinner, her father pulled Victoria aside again. "I was wrong about him, and I was wrong about what you needed. Dad, let me say this. I thought I was preparing you for life by controlling every aspect of it. But you were right. You needed to choose your own path. And looking at you now, I can see you're happier than you ever were before." Victoria felt tears coming. "Thank you for saying that. I'd like to know you again, if you're willing. No conditions, no expectations. Just as my daughter." She hugged him, and it felt like coming home. Not to the house, but to a relationship she'd thought was lost forever. The reconciliation with her family was slow. They had dinner once a month. Her mother stopped making comments about Victoria's choices. Her father even offered to invest in Jamal's next venture, though Jamal politely declined. He wanted to prove he could do it again on his own terms. If you've made it this far in the story, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're almost at the end, and you won't believe how this wraps up. By October, Victoria and Jamal had been together for over a year. They'd survived media scrutiny, family drama, poverty, and success. They'd built something real. One Saturday morning, Jamal woke her up early. Get dressed. We're going somewhere. Where? It's a surprise. He drove them out of the city to a beautiful spot overlooking the Hudson River. The leaves were changing colors, gold and red and orange. It was the same time of year they'd met. I've been thinking about this for months, Jamal said as they walked to a clearing with a perfect view. About what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. Victoria's heart started racing. She knew what was coming. Jamal got down on one knee. Victoria Ashford, you're the bravest person I know. You gave up everything to choose your own life. You believed in me when I was just a guy with a dream. You taught me that real success isn't about money. It's about building something honest and true. I love you more than I knew it was possible to love someone. Will you marry me? The ring was simple, beautiful but not obscene, perfect for who they'd become together. Yes, she said, pulling him up and kissing him. Yes, absolutely yes. They stood there holding each other, looking out at the river, and Victoria thought about the journey that had brought them here. From a random package delivery to this moment. From billions to broke to building something better. Should we have a big wedding? Jamal asked. Now that we can afford it? Victoria laughed. God, no. Something small. Just the people who actually matter. Your parents will hate that. They'll get over it. They got married 3 months later in a small ceremony in Central Park. Just 50 people. Victoria's parents, Jamal's mom and sisters, their closest friends. Victoria wore a dress she found on sale. Jamal wore the same suit from Blake's engagement party because it made them both laugh. Her father walked her down the aisle, and when he handed her to Jamal, he whispered, "Take care of my girl." Always, Jamal promised. The ceremony was short and perfect. No society photographers, no $100,000 flower arrangements, no performance. Just two people promising to choose each other every day. At the reception, which was at a nice but normal restaurant in Brooklyn, Victoria gave a speech. Victoria stood up with her glass of champagne, and the small group of their closest people quieted down. Jamal smiled at her from his seat, encouraging her. "A year and a half ago, I was a different person," she began. "I was living a life that looked perfect from the outside but felt empty on the inside. I was engaged to someone I didn't love, working toward a future I didn't want, and pretending to be happy because that's what was expected of me." She looked at Jamal. "Then this guy delivered a package to my door on a rainy Tuesday night, and in 20 minutes of conversation, he made me feel more alive than I'd felt in years. He didn't see a billionaire heiress. He saw me, the real me that I'd buried under expectations and obligations." Her voice got emotional. "Everyone said I was crazy for walking away, for choosing love over billions, for throwing away my inheritance and my family and everything I'd ever known. And maybe they were right. Maybe it was crazy." She wiped away a tear. "But it was the best decision I ever made. Because I didn't throw anything away. I found something. I found myself. I found what it means to build a life instead of inheriting one. I found what real love looks like. And I found this incredible man who believed I could be more than just my last name." Jamal was crying now too. "So thank you," Victoria continued. "Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for showing me that the best things in life aren't bought. They're earned. I love you, and I choose you. Every single day, I choose you." Everyone applauded. Her mother was dabbing her eyes with a napkin. Her father actually smiled. And Jamal stood up, pulled her close, and kissed her while everyone cheered. After the reception, as they were leaving, Victoria's mother hugged her tightly. "I'm proud of you, darling. Took me a long time to see it, but you were right. About everything. Thanks, Mom. He's good for you. You're good for each other." Victoria and Jamal spent their honeymoon doing something completely normal. They drove up the California coast, stayed in regular hotels, ate at diners, and just enjoyed being together without any pressure or expectations. "Can I tell you something?" Jamal said one night as they sat on a beach watching the sunset. "Anything. When I first met you, I thought you were just some rich girl who'd never understand real life. I almost didn't give you a chance. What changed your mind?" That first conversation. The way you talked about feeling trapped. I realized money doesn't protect you from pain or loneliness. You were just as lost as anyone else. Maybe more because you couldn't even admit it. Victoria leaned against him. And I thought you were just some delivery guy. Then you opened your mouth and said things that made more sense than anything I'd heard from people with multiple degrees. We're kind of a cliché, aren't we? Rich girl, poor boy, love conquers all. Maybe, but our version is better because it's real. They returned to New York after 2 weeks, ready to start their actual married life. Jamal had already started planning his next company. This time, he wanted to create software that helped people in underserved communities start their own businesses. Something that gave back. I remember what it was like, he told Victoria. Having an idea but no resources, no connections, no way to break through. I want to change that for other people. Victoria had started doing consulting work, helping small businesses with their marketing strategies. She made good money, but more importantly, she felt useful. Like she was contributing something real to the world. They bought a house in Brooklyn. Nothing crazy, just a nice 3-bedroom with a small yard. Victoria's father offered to buy them something in Manhattan. Something worthy of their combined wealth. They said no. This was theirs, earned with their own money, in a neighborhood they actually liked. Besides, Victoria told her father, we don't need a mansion, we just need a home. Life settled into a comfortable rhythm. They worked hard during the week, had friends over on weekends, visited family for holidays. It was beautifully ordinary, and Victoria loved every minute of it. But the story that had captivated the media wasn't quite done with them yet. A year after their wedding, a major news outlet wanted to do a feature story. The billionaire who gave it all up for love. Where are they now? At first, Victoria and Jamal wanted to say no. They'd moved on from that chapter. But then they realized something. Their story might help someone else who felt trapped. Someone who needed permission to choose their own path. They agreed to one interview. The journalist, a woman named Patricia, came to their house. She seemed surprised by how normal everything was. I expected something more, I don't know, dramatic? Sorry to disappoint, Victoria said with a smile. Patricia asked them everything. About the decision to walk away. About the hardest moments. About whether Victoria ever regretted it. Never, Victoria said firmly. Not once. Even in the worst moments, when we were struggling and everyone was judging us, I never regretted choosing this life. What would you say to other people in similar situations? People who feel trapped by family expectations or societal pressure. Victoria thought about it. I'd say your life is yours. Not your parents', not society's, yours. And yes, choosing yourself is scary. It might cost you things. But living a lie costs you something too. Costs you yourself. And that's too high a price. Jamal added, and I'd say, don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough. I was just a delivery driver. People looked at me like I was nothing. But I had a dream and I worked for it. Your circumstances don't define your worth. Your character does. The article came out a month later. It was beautiful, honest, and fair. It didn't romanticize their struggle or pretend everything was perfect. It just told the truth. 2 people chose love over money and built something real together. The response was overwhelming. They got thousands of messages from people who related to their story. Young people trapped in careers their parents chose. People in loveless marriages for financial security. Anyone who'd ever felt like they had to choose between happiness and expectation. We started something, Jamal said, reading through the messages. People are actually making changes in their lives because of our story. That's kind of amazing, Victoria agreed. One message particularly stood out. It was from a young woman named Sarah who'd been engaged to a wealthy man she didn't love. She'd read their story and called off her wedding. I don't know what's next, she wrote, but at least it'll be honest. Thank you for showing me it's possible to choose differently. Victoria cried reading that. We helped her. Our mess, our struggle, actually helped someone. Maybe that's the point, Jamal said. Maybe we went through all that so we could show others it's possible. By the time their second anniversary rolled around, they'd created something even more meaningful than success or money. They'd created a life that reflected their values. Work that mattered. Love that was real. A home that was theirs. Victoria sometimes ran into people from her old life, at charity events or business functions. Some still looked at her with pity or confusion. Others looked at her with something else. Envy. Not for what she had materially, but for what she'd found. Freedom. Authenticity. Real happiness. One night, she ran into Blake at a fundraiser. He was there with Amanda, now his wife. They looked fine. Not unhappy, just fine. "Victoria," Blake said. "Good to see you. I heard about Jamal's new company. Sounds impressive." "It is. How are you two?" "We're good. Busy. You know how it is." But Victoria could see it in his eyes. He knew she'd made the right choice. That what she had with Jamal was something he'd never have with Amanda. Real connection. True partnership. "I'm happy for you," Blake said quietly. "Really. You did the right thing." "So did you. We weren't right for each other." "No, we weren't. But you and him? That's the real deal." Victoria went home that night and found Jamal working on his laptop at the kitchen table. Glasses on, completely focused. He looked up when she came in and smiled. That smile that had first caught her attention on a rainy Tuesday night what felt like a lifetime ago. "How was the event?" he asked. "Good." Ran into Blake. "Yeah? How'd that go?" "He's happy for us. I think he gets it now." Jamal closed his laptop and pulled her onto his lap. "Get what?" "That we chose right. That this is what love should look like." He kissed her softly. "Best decision I ever made was ringing your doorbell that night. Best decision I ever made was opening it. Make sure to hit that like button if the story touched you, because we're heading into the final stretch." 3 years after they'd met, Victoria and Jamal's life had transformed in ways neither of them could have predicted. Jamal's second company, Path Forward, was thriving. It provided free business planning tools and microloans to entrepreneurs in low-income communities. He wasn't making billions, but he was making a difference. That mattered more. Victoria had started her own consulting firm. She specialized in helping family businesses navigate succession planning and modernization. Basically, she helped other families avoid the mistakes hers had made. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Her relationship with her parents had fully healed. Her father had even started asking Jamal for advice on tech investments. They had dinner together once a week now, and the conversations were real. No more performance, no more pretending. One Tuesday evening, exactly 3 years after that first package delivery, Victoria realized she was late. Not late for an appointment. Late. She took the test in their bathroom, hands shaking. 2 minutes felt like 2 hours. When she looked at the result, tears filled her eyes. Pregnant. She found Jamal in the living room, working on his laptop as usual. "Hey, can you pause that for a second?" "Sure, what's up?" She handed him the test. He stared at it, confused for a moment, then his eyes went wide. "Are you serious right now?" "Very serious." He jumped up and grabbed her, lifting her off the ground. "We're having a baby? We're actually having a baby. We're having a baby." They held each other and cried happy tears. This wasn't planned, but it felt right. Perfect timing, actually. They had a stable home, successful careers, and a relationship strong enough to handle anything. Over the next few months, as Victoria's belly grew, they prepared for parenthood. They turned their spare bedroom into a nursery, read every book about babies they could find, argued about names in the most loving way possible. "If it's a boy, I want to name him after my grandfather," Jamal said. "Marcus." "Yeah, Marcus Rivers Ashford." Victoria smiled. "I like it. And if it's a girl, you pick." "Riley. Riley Rivers Ashford." They found out at the 20-week ultrasound. A girl. Riley was on her way. Victoria's mother threw her a baby shower. Not the over-the-top society event it would have been years ago, just a nice afternoon with friends and family. Her mother had changed too. She was softer now, more present. Ready to be a grandmother. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you the way I should have been, Catherine told Victoria during the shower. I was so focused on status and appearances that I forgot what actually mattered. Mom, it's okay. We're here now. I won't make the same mistakes with Riley. I promise you that. Jamal's mother, Teresa, had become close with Victoria over the years. She treated Victoria like another daughter, teaching her to cook soul food, sharing stories about Jamal's childhood, being the mother figure Victoria had needed. You're good for my son, Teresa told her. You see him for who he really is. That's all a mother can ask for. In her 7th month, Victoria got an unexpected call. A major publishing house wanted to know if she'd be interested in writing a book about her experience. The Real Price of Billions. Choosing yourself over expectations. I don't know, she told Jamal. Do people really want to hear my story? Are you kidding? You get messages from people all the time saying how you inspired them. Write the book. Help more people. So she did. During her maternity leave while Riley slept, Victoria wrote. She poured everything into it. The loneliness of her old life, the fear of walking away, the struggles of starting over, the beauty of building something real, the joy of choosing love. The book wasn't about bashing wealthy people or saying money was evil. It was about authenticity, about having the courage to live your truth even when it costs you everything, about understanding that the most valuable things in life can't be bought. Riley was born on a perfect spring morning. 7 pounds, 6 ounces of pure perfection. Victoria held her daughter and felt a love so overwhelming she couldn't breathe. She's beautiful, Jamal whispered, tears streaming down his face. She looks just like you. She has your eyes. They brought Riley home to their Brooklyn house. Those first few months were exhausting and wonderful. Sleepless nights, endless diapers, constant feeding. But also first smiles, tiny fingers gripping theirs, and a love that redefined everything. Victoria's book came out when Riley was 6 months old. It became a bestseller almost immediately, not because people wanted gossip about billionaires, but because the message resonated. Choose yourself. Build your own path. Define success on your own terms. She did interviews speaking about her journey. Every time she emphasized the same points. It wasn't about the money she gave up. It was about the life she gained, the freedom to choose, the authenticity of real relationships, the pride of earning things instead of inheriting them. Do you ever miss it? An interviewer asked during a morning show. The private jets, the penthouses, the glamorous life? Victoria thought about her answer carefully. I miss my family from that time, but we've rebuilt that relationship. Everything else? No. Because that life was beautiful but empty. This life is messy and real and full. I'll take full over perfect any day. The interviewer smiled. And would you say you're happy? I'm the happiest I've ever been. It was true. Sitting in their living room at midnight, Jamal beside her, Riley asleep in her arms, Victoria felt a contentment she'd never known existed. This was wealth. Not the number in a bank account, but the richness of a life well lived. If you've stuck with this story until now, don't forget to subscribe and share it because we're almost at the end, and I promise you'll want to see how everything comes together. Jamal's company Path Forward reached a milestone. They'd helped 10,000 entrepreneurs start businesses in underserved communities. 10,000 people who now had hope and opportunity. The board wanted to celebrate with a big event, but Jamal had a different idea. Let's do something meaningful, he told Victoria. Create a scholarship fund. Help kids who want to study tech but can't afford it. They established the Rivers Ashford Foundation, started with $1 million of their own money and invited others to contribute. Within a year, they'd awarded 50 full scholarships to students from low-income families. One of the recipients, a young woman named Destiny from the Bronx, reminded Victoria so much of Jamal it hurt. Same drive, same intelligence, same lack of resources holding her back. Thank you, Destiny said at the scholarship ceremony. You don't know what this means. I thought college was impossible. Now I'm going to MIT. Victoria hugged her. Go change the world. That's what it was all about. Using their story, their resources, their platform to help others. Not just throwing money at problems, but creating real opportunities for people who needed them. Victoria's relationship with the Ashford family business evolved too. Her father offered her a board position. Not because she was family, but because she'd proven herself. Built her own consulting firm from nothing. Understood both the business world and real people's needs. She accepted, but on her terms. I'll help modernize the company. Connect it to communities that need technology. But I'm not coming back to run it. That's not my path. I understand, her father said. And I respect it. The Ashford Technologies annual report that year included a new mission statement. One Victoria had helped write. Technology should empower everyone, not just the wealthy. We commit to using our resources to bridge the digital divide and create opportunities in underserved communities. It was a small change in words but a massive shift in philosophy. The company her grandfather had built to accumulate wealth was now focused on distributing opportunity. That felt like redemption. On their 4th anniversary, Jamal took Victoria back to that spot overlooking the Hudson River where he'd proposed. Riley was with Teresa for the day, giving them rare alone time. For years ago, I was terrified to ask you to marry me, Jamal said. I thought maybe you'd realize you were settling, that eventually you'd miss your old life. Not once, Victoria interrupted. I know that now, but back then I was scared. I'm not scared anymore. You've shown me every single day that you chose this life, that you chose us. And I want you to know something. He pulled out a small box. Inside was a new ring, still not obscene, but more beautiful than her original engagement ring. Diamonds and sapphires arranged in a delicate pattern. I bought your first ring with everything I had saved, Jamal explained. It was all I could afford. This one represents everything we've built together. Our success, our struggles, our story. Will you accept this as a symbol of everything we've become? Victoria was crying as he slid it onto her finger. It's perfect. You're perfect. This life is perfect. It's not perfect, he corrected gently. It's real. And that's better. As they stood there overlooking the river, Victoria thought about how far they'd come. From a random package delivery to this moment. From billions to broke to building something better. From judgment and doubt to love and certainty. You know what's funny? Victoria said. When I walked away from my inheritance, everyone said I'd regret it, that I'd come crawling back when reality hit. That love wasn't enough. And they were wrong about everything. Love was enough. More than enough. It was the starting point for building something real. Jamal pulled her close. I used to think rich people had it all figured out. That money solved every problem. Then I met you and realized wealth can be its own kind of poverty. You had everything except the things that actually mattered. And you gave those to me. Freedom, honesty, real partnership. They drove back to Brooklyn as the sun set over the city. Their city now. Not the Manhattan of penthouses and society parties, but the Brooklyn of real neighborhoods and real people. Home. That evening, after picking up Riley from Teresa's, they sat together on their couch. Riley played with blocks on the floor. Jamal worked on his laptop. Victoria read through emails from people who'd read her book and wanted to share their own stories of choosing authenticity over expectations. This was their life now. Beautifully ordinary. Wonderfully real. Rich in all the ways that actually mattered. A few months later, Victoria got a call that surprised her. Blake wanted to meet for coffee. Just the two of them, no Amanda, no media, no agenda. They met at a quiet cafe in Manhattan. Blake looked older, more tired than she remembered. Thanks for agreeing to see me, he said. Of course. What's going on? Blake stirred his coffee, not meeting her eyes. Amanda and I are getting divorced. We've been miserable for over a year. We're basically roommates who show up to events together. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. It's for the best. The thing is, meeting with you made me realize something. Watching you and Jamal, seeing how happy you are, it made me understand what I've been missing. Blake, I'm not asking you for anything. I just wanted you to know that you were right. About all of it. We would have been miserable together. You choosing yourself, choosing him, that took real courage. I respected it then, but I respect it even more now. Victoria reached across and squeezed his hand. Thank you for saying that. And Blake, you'll find what you're looking for. Real connection. Honest love. But you have to be willing to choose it over what's expected. He smiled sadly. Easier said than done in our world. I know, but it's possible. I'm proof of that. They parted as friends, maybe for the first time ever. Victoria realized that her story wasn't just about her and Jamal. It had ripple effects. People were watching, learning, questioning their own choices. By Riley's second birthday, Victoria and Jamal had built a life that exceeded every dream they'd had on that first night they met. Not because of money or status, but because they'd built it together on a foundation of honesty and real love. Victoria's consulting firm was thriving. She employed 15 people now, helping businesses across the country. Jamal's path forward had expanded internationally. They'd helped over 50,000 entrepreneurs start businesses. The Rivers Ashford Foundation had awarded 200 scholarships. But their biggest accomplishment was simpler than all of that. They'd proven that choosing yourself over expectations wasn't just possible. It was worth it. One evening, as they put Riley to bed, she asked them a question in her 2-year-old way. Mama, Dada happy? Victoria and Jamal looked at each other and smiled. Yes, baby girl, Victoria said. We're very happy. Why? Jamal laughed. Because we chose each other. And we chose to be real. And that made all the difference. Riley didn't understand, but someday she would. Someday they'd tell her the whole story. About the billionaire heiress who gave it all up. About the delivery driver who built an empire. About 2 people who chose love over money and never looked back. After Riley fell asleep, Victoria and Jamal sat on their back porch. The Brooklyn night was alive with sounds. Neighbors talking, cars passing, life happening all around them. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't opened that door? Victoria asked. Every day. I thank God you did. Me too. That was the moment everything changed. Jamal turned to her. You changed my life, you know that? Not with money or connections, but by believing in me. By seeing something in me I didn't see in myself. You did the same for me. You saw past the billions and the last name. You saw Victoria. Just Victoria. They sat in comfortable silence, holding hands, watching the stars appear in the sky. This was wealth. This moment. This peace. This love. Victoria thought about her journey. From the girl who stood at penthouse windows feeling empty to the woman sitting on a back porch feeling full. From billions in the bank to real richness in her life. From a future mapped out by others to a present she'd chosen for herself. If someone had told her 5 years ago that she'd be here, married to a former delivery driver, living in a regular house in Brooklyn, working a normal job, and being happier than she'd ever been, she wouldn't have believed it. But here she was, and she wouldn't change a single thing. I love you, she told Jamal for the 1,000th time. I love you too. Always have, always will. Inside, Riley slept peacefully in her room decorated with things they'd picked out together at regular stores. Outside, the city hummed with life. And on that back porch, 2 people who'd chosen each other against all odds held hands and appreciated the simple beauty of a life well lived. The American billionaire heiress who chose the black boy over billions didn't just find love. She found herself. She found freedom. She found what it meant to live authentically in a world obsessed with appearances. She found that the richest life isn't measured in dollars, but in moments, in honest relationships, in work that matters, in love that's real. And in the end, she found that giving up $8 billion was the best investment she ever made. Because what she got in return was priceless. Years from now, people would still talk about her story. Some would call it romantic. Others would call it foolish. But Victoria and Jamal wouldn't care what anyone called it. They knew the truth. They'd chosen each other. They'd chosen authenticity. They'd chosen real over perfect. And that choice had given them everything that truly mattered. The end. If this story inspired you, moved you, or made you think about your own choices, Please hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about love, courage, and choosing yourself. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in Victoria's situation. Would you have walked away from billions for love? Let me know. And remember, the richest life isn't about what you have. It's about who you become and who you choose to become it with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.